Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this August 7th version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, we're glad that you're here with us. If you want to find our content, you go to EOA.network, like you type that into the bar, www.eoa.network, and it will take you to the link tree that will take you to all of the places where our content is distributed. You can also find all of our stuff on Spotify and Apple. What do they call that? Apple Podcast, iTunes. Thank you. There's the word. Yeah. And anyhow, all of our stuff is distributed on those podcast networks. Glad that you're here with us. Here in a little bit, we are going to have the past mayor of La Grande, Steve Clements. Good friend of mine. We always have a great, lively conversation. He'll be with us in just a bit. So, how are you, man?
I'm good. It's First Friday.
First Friday, and it's raining outside.
Friday. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Rain. It's depressing.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to be raining right now. It's supposed to be 100 degrees.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. We'll look at the weather here in just a bit, but it looks like that's what it's going to come back to.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So
I'm not ready for fall yet.
Yep.
I need another 3 months of summer.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did Bennett did a highlight reel, right?
Yeah, we're not going to play it on here because
it's
got music. But
yeah, be sure and check it out.
Yeah, you can find it on our on Facebook, on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's two different versions of it. There's a longer form version that's landscape, and then there's a shorter version that's under a minute and profile.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did a great job with it.
I saw both of them, and it was funny because during the actual game, I didn't really get a chance to watch the game, even though that's all it was, but some of the highlights and the touchdowns and stuff, it was pretty good.
There's a big difference even when you're calling a game than sitting there watching a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't necessarily remember a lot of the stuff when I'm sitting there talking at the same time. But if I'm sitting there actually watching, it's different. You know what I mean? I guess retention's different when you're using different parts of your brain.
I suppose so. Yeah.
It's gotta be. Yeah.
No, because in the trailer, in the control room, we're just like, okay, there was a touchdown. I mean, I couldn't, when the touchdowns were actually happening, I couldn't even tell you what team had just scored. I just knew that there was a touchdown, the score has to change, which all of that happens automatically. And hey, we got to get ready to go to a commercial right after the field goal attempt. And yeah. So
the funny thing is for some reason, and I feel like we do this every year because in my head, the East should be green for some reason. I don't know why, but same thing for William, but they're not.
They should be green?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. East, I relate East with green.
No, yeah.
And West with red.
No.
And it's not. It's flip-flop. But we start the game and there's that touchdown right off the bat, and we're calling him the wrong name because we're like, and it was the wrong team. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know why we do that because there's nothing to really fall back on that says, unless, I don't know. And William does the exact same thing. And he said, in my head, I want East to be green.
Huh.
I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It is. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit in La Grande. It's still the Traxxas All-American Summer Sale. Save 10% on Traxxas most popular models through summer. If you haven't driven a Traxxas, you have to get the Hobby Habit and get yourself one, man. These things are cool. They're not like the little cheap RC cars you used to get for Christmas that last a couple, runs and then it's broken or the batteries are dead. These things are legit. They're durable, and some of them go 70, 75 miles an hour. Joe has the biggest selection in Eastern Oregon and tons of parts for customization. Hobby Habit in La Grande, just for the fun of it. EOU fall teams are back. They're here. They're getting ready to blast off their fall season. Super exciting as EOU football will move into the new Frontier West Conference. The Frontier Conference essentially doubled over the span of a year, and what it does is it gives 2 automatic bids to the Frontier instead of 1 to the national tournament football wise. And EOU will be in the West. I mean, there's really only one new team in the West that wasn't in the old Frontier, and that's Simpson in California. And then basically all the other schools are like North Dakota. They're all going to be clumped up with the Montana schools for the East. Today's the Frontier Conference West Media Day, and Coach Camp will be available along with Brody McMillan from the offense and Jason Grant from the defense. And I had to drum up some questions for him because it's basically a Zoom meeting. They used to do it live. They'd bring the coach and the players there. Now they do it all Zoom. And they want, they have media people in the Zoom meeting asking questions, and all the coaches have their media people come there, and they want you to ask them a question so they can answer it in front of the other media people. So I always figure something out to ask Camp, and I don't even know what I'm going to ask him yet, but it'll probably be something to do with the quarterback because I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do with that yet. It's a quick sports report today. The only thing going on this week, as far as like my normal coverage, is the LHS girls soccer team will take the field tonight for the first time. It's an alumni game, and that should be exciting. It's at 6 o'clock up at the middle school, and I'm looking forward to see who's going to come back and play from previous LHS teams, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new look. This team got second in the state last year. They lost in the state championship game to Marist Catholic. It was a tough game, but this team has a lot of potential. They did lose their goalkeeper, though, and that's the big question for this team in my eyes. You have Rowan Evans coming back, Peyton Daggett, among other players. I mean, there's a whole handful of players that started that are coming back, but the big loss is Lindy Isaacson at goalie, and that's going to be really hard to replace. And they pitched a lot of shutouts last year, so we'll see what they do there. I'll be up there today taking some pictures and just checking it out. It should be fun. 6 o'clock. LMS, the middle school field is where they're playing. We'll be live streaming all of Pendleton, Baker, and LeGrand High School football games, their home games, again this year, and that's right around the corner. Baker has the lone August game. They'll play August 29th at home versus Cascade at 7 p.m. And then as we move into September, there's a ton of games. That's all I got on a Thursday. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Bennett, go back to that graphic real quick of Hobby Habit, will you? The car and the boat and stuff. Yeah. These look like, those don't look like models, do they? They just look like. Yeah.
That's what
I know.
They have them to the point where they look like real vehicles. It's crazy. And they model them after actual vehicles.
Yeah.
That's a new Bronco.
Yeah. No. Anyhow, that would be, just sounds like fun.
I've driven one before.
Yeah.
On the coast. I raced a drone. I spanked that drone. my buddy had a drone, and another buddy of ours had one of those cars, and I got to drive the car against the drone, and it wasn't even close. It was a spank shit. But it ended up being a kind of a cool video.
Yeah, I bet so.
The drone chasing the car on the beach. It was pretty cool, actually.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a look outside, Bennett. And there it is. It's raining, man.
That's not going to stick around today, thankfully.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it's supposed to clear up by like 9, 10 o'clock, which is coming right up. But I was looking at later in the afternoon, and it's like 1% chance of precipitation. So.
Yeah. The good thing when it's raining like that, we don't have that glare on that dirty lens.
That's true. You can't tell how dirty it is.
Maybe hopefully get a little rain on that lens and clean it up. So, yeah. I told you before, like the expensive cameras, like the more expensive cameras than what we have up there. They have little wipers.
Yeah, self-cleaning.
Yeah,
I've seen that
Yeah,
before.
it's hilarious. So, all right, well look at the graphic here. So 76 today, 46 tonight, and then it looks like it's through the rest of the
Creep back
weekend.
up.
Yeah, and then Sunday it's back up to the 90s, and looks like it's gonna stay in the 90s at least through the first part of next week. So
I'm okay with that.
yeah, but this rain is a nice little reprieve. So, all right, well, cool. Well, we're glad that you guys are here with us. Here in just a minute, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with past Mayor Steve Clements. We'll be right back.
Got back to you.
All right, we're back. Steve Clements, how are you, man?
I'm good.
Good.
Better than I have been in months. So
Yeah. So you've had a little back issues, and
I did.
You share whatever you want to share. But-
Lift with your legs and don't twist with something heavy.
Oh,
Okay.
good sense.
Yes.
Is that kind of what got you in a jam?
That got me in a jam. And a shout out to the people up at Grand Ronde Hospital for taking care of me for an MRI.
Uh-huh.
And a bigger shout out to Dr. Christian Zimmerman over at St. Alphonsus in Boise.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are watching may actually have had this situation.
Yeah.
Zimmerman does a lot of back work on people from LeGrand.
Yeah.
And he took care of me on the 23rd, and I am virtually pain-free.
Yeah. So what did they do when they fixed that, or what did they do in your particular case?
In my particular, I had a herniated disc
Uh-huh.
in between the L4 and the L5 vertebrae.
Uh-huh.
And it was putting pressure on the nerve canal or channel that goes down your left leg and down all the way down to your big toe.
Huh.
And boy, it bit me hard. The procedure was called a microdiscectomy.
Huh.
Ectomy means they're cutting something away.
Okay.
So they make an incision about 1.5 inches,
Huh.
and then they go in with like a little camera and a little cutter, and he
Kind of
moves
trim
it.
stuff.
Yeah, kind of moves in there, and he cuts off a bit of the disc that's bulging, and then he sewed me up with dissolvable stitches and put a tape on my back to hold it together, and out the door.
Long.
I had the procedure at about 7:38 in the morning, and I was on the road home from Boise by 3:30.
Wow, that's crazy.
I wasn't driving, just to be certain. They loaded me up with prescriptions for painkillers and muscle relaxants, and I never had to take a one.
Yeah.
He does, the work he does is so clean, no pain.
Yeah.
So I'm a happy man.
Well, where did the Egyptian go for back pain?
I have thought about that a lot.
Yeah.
Everything I read about herniated discs is that if you wait long enough, the herniation will actually pull back in and heal itself.
I was telling you a joke.
Oh.
Where did the Egyptian go for back pain?
No, I don't know, Kyle. Where
The
did
chiropractor.
I thought it was a joke at first,
Yeah,
and then
it
the
was.
way you responded, I thought,
Well, that's a
okay,
good one, actually.
there's somebody that you know something I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know,
I
Kyle.
thought you knew an Egyptian person that went to the doctor.
And I'm giving you a technical answer. That was brilliant. I really like that.
So,
I really like that. Okay.
so herniated means bulging a little bit, or squished, or what is that?
Well, normally, the discs between your vertebrae are cushy, and they've got like a kind of a callus around the outside. And in this case, it just
Just
pushed,
jutted out a little.
Yeah, just pushed out.
Huh.
And the soft inside of it just kind of, and it wasn't, I don't know what it looks like, but it just was enough to put pressure on that nerve. And golly, and thinking about it, we were at council meeting last night.
Yeah.
There were 3 other people in that room
Yeah.
who'd had the same type of thing.
Huh.
It must be fairly common. Then.
It is, I recommend to people. Of course, it's nice that I have insurance and it can cover that.
Right.
Because it was not an inexpensive procedure. But in my mind, if you can afford to do it and you have that kind of pain, it'll return your life to normal.
Yeah.
awesome.
Back pain is one of those things you just can't get away from.
No, you cannot.
If you have a limb that's sore or aching or whatever, you can
Yeah.
put it up or isolate it, or,
Yeah.
But it is hard to get it.
There was not one thing I could do that would alleviate the pain.
Yeah.
I slept in a recliner because that was the only position I could lay in.
Mm-hmm.
I could only sleep on my sides. If I had to lay on my back with my legs straight out, the pain was within seconds. The pain was so intense down my back, my left leg, I couldn't do it. Getting the MRI, that's why the radiologist up at Grand Run Hospital, I don't know her name, otherwise I'd give her direct credit. She was so compassionate and so gentle. To lay on my back flat for the MRI was like,
Oh yeah, that's right. You had to lay still for.
Yep.
Yep.
And she was really, really good.
Yeah.
And you're in the little tube. Too.
You're in the tube.
I don't have to get in the tube. I get open MRIs because of my height and my size.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't fit in them tubes, thankfully, because that would not be fun.
Well, you put the earplugs in because it ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's
and
loud.
I just close my eyes because if you open them once, the thing is right here.
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot be claustrophobic in an MRI.
The good thing about the open ones is they're still pretty close to you, but there's no side. Because that's my issue. My shoulders are way too wide.
Right.
And if I tried to get in one of those, I'd be like this.
So what do you do? You stand up and it just rotates?
No, you're still laying down. It's just open. Like it doesn't go completely around you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you still got it pretty close to you here, but there's not like sides to it.
Does the thing move?
It kind of does weird.
Yeah.
It does a bunch of weird motions to make up for the fact that it doesn't have. Sides.
Yeah. But I'm good now.
Good.
How about you?
We're good. We just got, you and I were talking about various topics offline,
Yes.
and we just got done with the Shrine Football, which is our biggest production event of the year.
Right,
and
calling the green is west and
Yeah.
red is east. And
That's not my department,
That's right.
but yeah, but no, that's we have a crew of 15 to do that game.
wow.
Yeah, it's just a gigantic.
Was that here at Communities?
They,
Okay.
They practice all week here.
Okay.
But the actual game is at Bulldog Stadium in
In Baker.
Baker. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and they have, the town they have built a lot of their tradition and economy around that game.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a state level game, I'm
Correct.
assuming.
Right.
And it's a high school level?
Yep.
So they take a group of players from the west side and they take a group of players from the east side. Who won? Sorry. I didn't
The West.
The West by 1 point.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a close game.
No,
right?
26-21.
Okay, 20. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
so well, that's pretty cool. So they've always had this state level game in Baker City.
Yeah.
That's really
For over 50 years.
Really?
It's been going on for 72 or 73 years, and it's been in Baker for over 50.
How did it end up being
That's-
26-21? I lost track of
I don't know. I don't remember.
well. That's a good thing.
I think they went for 2 and didn't get 2. And,
Okay, yeah.
You don't really have a kicker in these games, so the scores are always wonky.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless you got somebody that
No
can
kicker. No. Well,
So
for
you're not
field
going to
goals.
waste an all-star spot on a kicker, right? Most of these kids, the all-stars are the best athletes on their team, so
Right.
some of them can kick too,
Right.
usually. but you're not going to go, hey, I'm going to fill up one of my spots on this team
Gotcha.
with a kid that just kicks.
Yeah,
They
gotcha.
don't do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they don't punt either. That's
No.
kind of thing. Yeah, so
So on a fourth down,
yeah, how do
it's a
they do that?
turnover
I
to
can't
the other
remember.
team?
It's yardage from, so on fourth down, if you say you want to punt,
Right.
it's a faux punt or a faux
Right,
punt.
yeah.
And they just take it a certain amount of yards. I think it's 40 yards away,
Right.
And then the other team gets the ball.
Yeah.
Well, that's I learn something new every day.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
pretty
well,
good.
lot of times they go for it.
Yeah. See, I learned that. I learned that when I was in the control room at the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's.
no
I mean,
punting, no kicking,
yeah,
no field goals.
but my, when we're in the truck, our attention is so far away from the mechanics of the game.
Yeah,
It's
I can
like,
imagine.
I mean, so
Well, then people who are watching don't understand the studio, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's fairly sophisticated. This is not your home camera setup. There's 3 cameras and
No,
there's
there's
light. 5, okay. Three that I can.
Actually, there's 6.
yeah. So go to the God shot, we call it again,
There's
Bennett, real
one.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on it right now.
Okay.
So there's one way up in the very corner, yeah.
Okay.
And in this thing right in front of us, there's
There's 3.
Right.
3 cameras here.
Yep.
And then
One over here.
one over there, that's yours.
Right.
Yeah. So anyhow,
2
Right.
over there.
Right.
yeah, there's
So
a lot
how many
to it.
cameras do you have when you do a football
We have
game?
6.
When you're doing a football game.
Yeah, but there's 4 operated. There's
Okay.
There's three in the stand, and then there's a rover
I was
camera.
going to
a guy
say
on the
you've got one that's mobile.
Yeah, and then just one pointed back toward the announcer, and then just a wide shot field camera.
Okay.
So
That's pretty technical. I mean, that takes. I mean, your focus has got to be on moving the shot from place to place and making sure the equipment is all functioning properly.
yeah, and we have instant replays and
Yeah.
commercials and
Graphics.
and
Right.
no, if everything goes well, it looks
Looks good.
very much like a commercial football game.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it available on your site to look
Yeah,
at?
yeah.
I might have to pop in there and
Yeah.
just look at.
I'll tell you what was interesting is that we had some streaming problems. The company that we use Vimeo, and that's
Yeah.
the platform that this is on right now. And Vimeo is, they're reliable about 99.9% of the time, but when they're not, they're not accountable. They never tell you what went wrong or why something is wrong or no, it won't happen again. I mean, there's just nothing, and we had an incident like a week before the game.
Oh.
Like that. And so then I'm thinking, oh man, we need a fallback. So I put into place kind of an online, a cloud switch. So then if in the middle of the game there was a problem, I could switch from one provider to another.
Oh.
Well, problem is the provider of that switch had problems.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
What are the odds of that, my friend?
yeah. So we get about 5 minutes into the game, and it's super sketchy. I mean, on our end, everything looks good, but of course, as we monitor Facebook and all of the outlets,
Right.
it's jerky and pixely and a mess.
You're not hardwired into the internet there, is it?
Yes.
You are, okay.
Yeah.
And we have backup.
And we have a
Okay.
backup.
It was
yeah.
definitely not an internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew that it was them.
Oh.
So, but in a game like this, you have control. We have a red hat, and so I just radioed the red hat and go, we need a TV timeout, and they held the game for 5 minutes,
Which is unheard of, though,
Yeah.
too. I mean, that doesn't ever happen.
No. Yeah.
You mean
I
on
couldn't
actual
believe it.
play on the field
Yeah.
stopped?
Well, we have control.
That's a lot of control.
Well, see, in a game like what we're doing, like if you, so the timeouts on the field are about a minute. Now, if you go to a college game, they have regular TV timeouts.
Yeah.
And they have this gigantic. We went to a Boise, Wyoming game, and when they would have a break, you knew it was a TV timeout because there was this big clock, and it was 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep.
And they'd put it out on the field, and everybody knew that the game was paused until They were ready to come. Anyhow,
Yeah.
so in our case, if they do a 1 minute timeout and we play 2 30-second commercials, we can almost get it in. But the announcers, I mean, as they're going to a break, they might take 5 or 10 seconds, you know.
Right.
And as they're coming back in. And so we really need about a minute and 15 seconds or a minute and 20 seconds to get to. Yeah. So then we have a red hat, and and this is just routine.
Right.
So then, and I'm the one that's communicating with the red hat, and like, okay, we're gonna take a break.
Yep.
Just hold the game until I tell you, and then as soon as I have a countdown, then I give him a countdown.
Right.
And,
Right.
So anyhow.
Right.
So yeah, I had to just say like, hey, because we probably had as many people watching online as what there was in the stands.
Well, yeah. I mean, this particularly people on the west side who can't travel or even here that are pretty remote.
And in the comments, you just should have seen were just boiling in on Facebook.
The thing is, though, like on real TV, there's more people watching on TV, but they would never do that. They just black the screen out.
Yeah.
The game would never stop. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I almost fell out of my chair. I was announcing. I'm like, they're holding this game for, like, I don't know. If I was the referee, I don't know if I would have done it. I would have probably just said, we're playing football.
You get some power there, man. You got some power.
No, it was, and I don't know I don't know what was going on with the crowd, but I didn't hear anything later about, like, what did you guys do? I mean, they were like,
oh, so it's just a delay, and
well, and we had communication with the house guy too.
Oh.
You know, and so I told both the red hat, hey, can you hold the game for a bit? Told the guy in the PA, like, hey, we're having some tech difficulties.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so anyhow.
Right. Interesting.
It was a funny, but I was like, in that 5 minutes, I can tell you, I was sweating bullets.
I bet you were.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of wrap around back to something else we talked about because I think it's interesting. This is pretty technical stuff. And when before the show started, we were chatting about how you got going.
Yeah.
With a camera and a computer in a back bedroom in your house.
Yeah.
And you have put together a fairly successful business around that starting point.
Yeah.
I think that's highly amiable. Really, really very cool. And along the way, did you just learn all this stuff as you needed to?
No. So I was, so when I was, after I graduated from college, or while I was in college, I worked for a media center.
Oh, yeah.
At the college. And so I was the gib. The
Yeah.
gib up here, I was the gib. I mean, and so then every classroom, all of the sports, all of the activities. I mean, this was the early days of multi-camera stuff, and I had a boss who would buy equipment ahead of my interests.
Oh.
So he could see that, like, oh, we need another camera so we can put them together.
Right.
And, yeah. So.
Right.
And then after college, then I taught audio, video recording, and photography, black and white and color photography. Did that for 4 years in total. Yeah. And then I also worked for a production company in Kansas City. Did that for 4 years.
Okay.
Traveled internationally as a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went into another career for a long time. So when I started this, you know, I mean, I'm kind of geeky and I'm a gear guy.
Yeah.
That's how they classify people like me.
I can relate to that.
And so I had been following technology, but when we started the business, I didn't own a camera, not a single one. And it was right at high definition was just coming in. Yeah. And so when we invested in high definition.
Yes.
You know,
that makes sense.
And even to have a computer you had cameras that could capture it. That's
but
first.
computers didn't catch up to that for a
No,
while.
the computers couldn't handle it.
Right.
Yeah, and so
and storage and speed and all of that.
Yeah. So anyhow, so then that's kind of. I tell you what's kind of interesting. There was, so I grew up in a small business family, and so I knew how to hustle. I knew how to work hard, and so on and so forth. And I got laid off. This is in 2009. And we got a loan and was going to start the business. And bought a camera, bought actually 2 cameras, because my whole thought was I was going to do weddings, and
Right.
that was going to be the money maker for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
And so, but the kind of the pinnacle thing was I was on unemployment. I had applied for every job that I could. I'd gotten laid off, and so I was on unemployment. Well, what I discovered was my unemployment was ready to run out. And again, it's like, wow, man, what are we going to do? How are we going to make ends meet? Or how am I going to pay for this adventure? You know?
Right.
And I found out Workforce Oregon at that time had a program to where if you did a business plan and submitted it and jumped through all the hoops, that they would let you stay on unemployment while you started your business.
Oh.
Not for
Right,
I mean,
right,
it was
right.
like a
Give you
it was
sort
like
of
a 4 or 5 month period.
Yeah,
of time.
sort of a safety net type
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah. And man, that was just the crux. It was like it was just enough
Tough to carry you.
to keep going. And,
Yeah.
And
Good,
so,
good story.
but that was I had never done a business plan. I mean, and
Right, and it's important to do one. If
it
you're
is, and it's brutal.
It's not easy. Which kind of segues, if I can, to a city council meeting last night. They talked about the city accepting a block grant, which they've done several times in the past, to host training programs for people interested in starting a business, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I know they've done it several times, but they've particularly target low and moderate income people.
Yeah.
So I'm giving a shout out. I suspect that this is a done deal.
Yeah.
And you take if you're interested in doing business, right? Make sure you touch base with your local economic development directors or Workforce Oregon or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because there's all sorts of opportunities out there for small businesses to get the leg up.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty exciting, and it's nice that you got advantage of that.
Well, I tell you, I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, I knew the tech side. I knew I had a passion, and I knew where I wanted it to go,
Right.
and stuff. But whether it wasn't until I did the business plan that I really okay, how am I going to make money?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole nother thing to okay, I really like doing this, and how cool it would be if people paid me to do it.
Right.
But
Right. Do you remember Christine Jarsky? She was our economic development. When she was working for the city, there were a number of years that I was still teaching up at EOU, and I had the intro to business class. And I would bring her in every term, and she'd talk about the importance of a business plan. Because right at the beginning, because the intro to business was this sort of throw everything about a business at a student. And boy, she just drilled it into their heads. Yeah, if you're going to start a business, have that plan.
Well, and it at first it was super vague, and I didn't know for sure what that meant. But when it comes right down to it, it's not much different than doing your own budget at home. It's like, okay, what is my rent? What's my cell phone? What are my expenses?
Yep.
If I have equipment, what's that loan payment going to be?
Right.
And you come with that. This is what I need every month.
Right.
And then, what jobs do you think that you can get that's going to give you that amount of money?
Right.
Every month.
Right.
I mean, and that process all of a sudden makes things super real.
Right.
Oh,
man. Because it puts down in front of you what you have to, how much hustle you have to have.
Right.
Right. Question for you now is, you thought weddings were going to be your big money maker, without revealing the business secrets. I think you mentioned winter being good for you, but is there any one particular activity that?
No, winter is not good for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought.
No, and so, along the way, there's a couple of things that I've figured out. Is that I tend to be ahead. I tend to be ahead of time. I mean, so something that I think is going to be real current is going to be work. Is like, oh, this is going to be awesome. 2 years later, that's when it's awesome. But part of that is LeGrand. Part of that is Eastern Oregon. Know, and so for instance, I thought social media advertising I mean, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I thought that was going to be a huge deal. It's a huge deal now. I mean, now if you but trying to help businesses understand how big it was going to be,
Right.
they didn't, I was just ahead of the curve. So anyhow,
right.
So,
But that's a good entrepreneurial skill to have.
well, as long as you know,
Yes.
as long as you know that you're ahead of the curve, I mean,
Yeah.
I would think that something would be super relevant, and I would get frustrated because people wouldn't understand how relevant that is.
Yes.
And then, so it's taken me a while to figure out that I'm a little bit further ahead than what
Right.
it happens on the ground. Anyhow, so we started weddings. I mean, and weddings are people who do weddings are a special breed of people, and I mean that because it's a lot of pressure. You only get one shot.
Yeah.
It's a life event,
Yeah.
and
And you better be halfway decent, otherwise you're not going to get a
and
reputation.
people's expectations are super high.
Yes.
And so
Clients. Or
clients,
yes.
right, and understandably so. And this is only increased in the last 15 years. I mean, now, so, I mean, I did the last big wedding that I did for my stepdaughter, and and we threw a lot at that. But what I found is that for us to do a wedding at the level that I want, it's going to be expensive, and not very many people in Eastern Oregon really want to.
Right.
They really have that kind
It's
of
not.
a budget.
It doesn't have the market niche for that
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Now, real quick little sidebar story. Okay, so
Yeah.
my daughter Michaela does weddings,
Okay.
does luxury wedding invitations. Okay, so she told me about a wedding that happened not too long ago, and they spent $180,000 on flowers alone.
Sorry, I got my mouth open.
Yeah.
That's a luxury wedding.
Well, I mean, she did her, she does the paper products and
Right.
and a lot of that stuff. But there are people, not here, but there are people out there that spend, they'll spend $500,000, $1 million on
Now,
a
isn't
wedding.
it tradition for the
The
wife,
brides.
the bride's family to pay
Yeah,
for that
yeah,
type of thing?
yeah.
I'm sure glad I have a son.
Anyhow, so it just wasn't really much of a moneymaker at the end of the day,
But you have enough, you got feelers out there in different areas.
Yeah.
I know we hired you for the sound system at the Friends of Lad Marsh annual bird festival, and that was the best sound system that we'd had in a long time.
Well, and what's happened over a period of time is, and this kind of comes back to my AV days at the university, at college, there's a lot of needs like that.
Yes.
There's a lot of just somebody needs to set up a projector and it needs to be good and
Yes.
it needs to be, and yes, people can do that themselves, but I can't tell you the number of times that there'll be an event and the sound is not great,
Right.
or the sound is,
And it makes a difference in the event, and it makes it, it edges up the event quality by a notice, or reduces it by a quality by a noticeable amount.
Yeah.
And the previous year we struggled with the sound system being loud enough. We had we had a compounded by someone who was speaking very softly. But this year, the wireless mic, the sound, the quality of the sound, it was fantastic, and was really reasonably priced. So I don't know how you got away with that.
Well, I tell you just a funny little story. So we became a member of the Baker City Chamber of Commerce. So
okay.
And if you're out there in Baker City, we're going to be in your neighborhood more in the sense of that we're going to be interviewing people from Baker City and involved in Baker City stuff.
Cool.
There's going to be more on this show. Anyhow, so went to the Baker Chamber of Commerce thing, and not many. I mean, some people know me over there, but not a huge amount, And so, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to go. This is great. I'm just going to go to an event. I'm not involved in any of the tech. I don't have to worry about anything.
Right,
you know?
right,
So,
right.
and I get there, and they're having troubles with their sound system.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, and they get ready to present the awards, and this is a fairly sizable
Don't
room,
go there, Brent.
and you can't hear anybody.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. And so I turned to somebody next to me, and I was like, "How long do you think the program's going to be on?" And at first he thought I was like wanting to get out of there. He is the one guy I knew that was there. He goes, "Oh, I don't know, probably 20, 25 minutes, you know." And I said, "Well, I have a portable sound system
Oh,
in the car.
Oh, nice.
Do you think that?"
Nice.
And 3 tables went. You know, they overheard me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the middle of the event, I have a little battery operated system that I use actually for LeGrand Rotary.
Right.
And so I mean, they're going on. I bring in the speaker, and I mean, I just presume. And anyhow, it was.
and you stepped in, and all of a sudden you expanded your market area from LeGrand to Baker City, dude.
It was nice. Christopher Hobson, if you're out there and you see this, yeah, he threw me a credit, and
Nice.
and it was appreciation and stuff.
Yes.
But still, it's those. Just the point of that is that it happens all the time.
Right, and for people in Baker City or elsewhere in Northeast Oregon, this is the guy. Honestly, Brent, you do really high quality stuff. The sound system that we borrowed, the show, for instance, you can't go wrong with working with Brent. But there's the other thing that's critical. I think he's just a great guy. I've known you for a bunch of years, and it just gets better and better to hang out and chat with you, but also to get to know you more. Your story about starting up the business was just brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. I think I just care.
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing for me is that I'm constantly, and so then when I don't get good customer service, I get frustrated sometimes.
Yes.
Because it's important for me to get what it is that I'm giving to others.
Right.
And so then when I'm involved in solving a problem for a customer, whatever it might be, I'm constantly thinking about how would I want to be served.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about that now. I bet that's the way you operate, and you operate it because it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's not and so it's like this snowball effect. If I do good work, it makes me feel good, so I'm just going to keep doing good work. And that's a great personality trait.
Well, the but is, but sometimes you end up,
Oh.
you work really hard and people don't even know what you did for them.
Yeah, it's all kind of behind the scenes,
Yeah,
dude.
because, it's like you don't notice a sound man until he does something wrong. It squawks or you can't hear,
Yes.
If you go to an event and everything technically is, and you didn't notice the lights not being on, or you didn't
Right.
notice the sound, or
Right.
you didn't, then, yeah. So it's just kind of in the nature of stuff.
Yeah, but it's the behind the scenes that are important, and you don't mind doing that, but you do it so well.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that it feeds your personality. I think that's really cool.
Well, and going back to the business aspect of it, another key point was when we started doing the city council meetings for LeGrand.
Yes.
And at first it was recording them. From the very beginning, they have always been recorded and broadcasted on Spectrum.
Right.
At the time, it was Charter,
Right.
and so on and so
And
forth.
that was at cable
Right.
public channel access.
Yeah, and so, and then recorded them so that for the record and so on and so forth. But that contract and other contracts like that, and that monthly income,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it at the time. It's meat and potatoes stuff.
Yeah.
But it creates, for any business, it creates this base
Yeah.
of like, okay, I can pay insurance, I can pay the rent, I can pay
Yeah.
the cell phone bill, I can pay, And so then whatever that stuff is that accumulates, it might not be very exciting,
Right.
but it happens every month and it's regular.
Right.
And it kind of builds this
Yes.
base for
Yeah.
the fun, fluff stuff.
Right.
You can't do the fun, fluff stuff if you
You
don't,
don't have that
some
base.
kind of a
yeah, and I could see that being pretty critical
Yeah.
for a service-based business like this
Yeah.
versus a merchandise-based
Yeah.
business. You just if you got to just sell so many boxes of cereal if you're Safeway.
Yeah.
Right. For you, having some set contracts gives you that base, that foundation of known income.
Right.
And fortunately, you probably got a handful or so of them that really work well for you.
Well, and that, I mean, there's this vast difference between somebody who has a commercial space
Yeah.
or somebody who is working out of a spare bedroom.
Right.
And I've done both.
Right.
Right. And I mean, if you have a home-based business and you still have a job, you have another job and you're just doing this on the side,
Yes.
then
You've got that base.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
got that
you've got
foundation.
and you can do it occasionally. I mean, you can have fun with it and
Yeah.
and make money for a bit, and then the ups and downs doesn't bother you because you have some kind of a
Yeah,
regular thing.
you got that something that net
Yeah.
net below you.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Interesting conversation about business and
Yeah.
your background. I appreciate that.
the other thing one more thing that I really appreciated is people, genuine entrepreneurs that just start something from nothing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's what I was until I got into it a little bit.
Right.
And and
I admire that too for this reason that I don't have that kind of personality.
yeah.
I've never been particularly creative with something. I think I'm a reasonable problem solver, but I can never get my mind around something that could be more
Yeah.
and could make a living. So I really appreciate that piece of it.
Well, and what I learned when I served on the Grand Main Street Board downtown and Chamber of Commerce and
Right.
so on and so forth is we need the voices of genuine entrepreneurs, because for somebody who has not experienced that and they don't understand it's just very difficult for them to understand.
Yes.
And when I would sit on the boards with people who had a regular job and they had regular income, there was just no way that they could understand the risk that an entrepreneur was taking.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so which kind of comes back to those grants,
Right.
Those particular, yeah,
Right, and in those grants, and I think that's a really important role of government.
Yeah.
And government resources is to lessen some of the risk that businesses and entrepreneurs take on, and it lessens it. It gives them just enough that they can, put their own effort into it and succeed.
Yeah.
Or make something happen.
Yeah.
Without risking everything or losing their
Right.
losing that foundation in which they have a backup. So yeah, government gets involved to the point of reducing the risk of and making it acceptable for people to take on the entrepreneurial role. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, well, and the biggest entrepreneurs in the valley are the ones that have that 20 square miles of farmland out there,
You
whatever that might
bet.
be.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever told you I worked for Extension Service years ago, early '90s, about '92 to '98. I gained an incredible admiration for the agricultural community in this
Yeah.
valley and what it does and the risks it takes and the innovative and changeable nature of those people, and
Right.
how they'll look at something and go, oh, remember when mint was big?
Yeah.
Like we had mint everywhere, and they grabbed that market and they ran and they shook it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the mint market dropped down, and now you see sunflowers out there.
Yeah.
And so, entrepreneurs at the heart.
No, yeah, and I don't, I mean, I grew up around agriculture and ranching in Wyoming,
Yeah.
but not to the depth of what I have learned, And I mean, last night in the council meeting, I mentioned, that as a business owner, when somebody points out inefficiencies in our business or whatever the case may be, and you do know this is all I do. This is all I think about. And those farmers are the same way. I mean, when they're at night and it's dark and they're in front of the TV or whatever they're doing to chill and relax a little bit, all they're thinking about is, what am I going to grow next year? Is
Yeah.
it going to yield better?
Yes.
What am I going to do in this field that I didn't do? I mean,
Yeah.
it's all they're thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, your business is successful because I suspect that you spend a bit of time watching when you're watching the TV, thinking about the different aspects of your business and how you're going to either grow it or reduce it, or
Yeah.
what new equipment do I need. I don't know whether it was in the context of this, but you said, hey, I'm looking out 2 years.
Yeah.
And if you're not, the farmer's looking out next season, you're looking out 2 years because technology is
Yeah.
that way. That's the sign of a good business manager and a good business owner and an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I really, I've said this several times. I really admire that because I don't have that. I mean, I can solve problems and I can work like the devil when I need to, but I it's just one of those things I don't do well. And many things that I don't do well.
So I have to give credit to Tanya, my wife, also, because she is not an entrepreneur. I mean, she wanted me to be happy, and so she encouraged me to do this and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. But her taking risks that's not her thing.
Right.
I mean, that's not. But so, and again, so we started the business as a sole proprietor, and then somewhere along the line we organized as a LLC.
Yeah.
And in that point, then she and I became 50-50 partners.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she works a full-time job, and so which is part of that base.
Yes.
Gives us
Yes.
part of that base. And so, but she's here almost every day, looking at the books and looking on why I spent what I spent and did I really need to, and
Right.
looking. I mean, she's the one that's like, okay, it's the 15th of the month.
These are
payroll.
Right.
Payroll is in 10 days. What do we have coming in? What's your plan? What are you? I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, and she's
And the mechanics are just as important as the forethought and the technological ability.
Yeah,
That back room stuff, that behind the scenes stuff that helps a business survive and prosper like that.
Yeah.
Because if somebody wasn't watching the beans, the jar might empty out.
I describe Tanya's personality in that she's quiet until she's not.
I'm not going to go any deeper than that, there, Brett.
Yeah.
But thank you, Tanya, because you got the guy's back, and that's good.
Yeah. So that's anyhow.
Yeah.
No. So, well, let's talk about economic development we got just a little bit more time.
Okay.
Yeah. That is such a vague, mushy.
I can't tell you how many times I got into trouble just because of that sort of definition, vague, mushy. What is
Yeah.
economic development?
Well, and I mean, as Timothy Bishop last night was talking about these grants and the lingo, and it's the lingo that economic development people use.
Yeah.
We're collaborating and it's leveraging and
Yeah.
all of it, and not any, like I said, it's all economic development people use those terms.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's a job that I would never want because you there's a lot of work and you have an occasional win.
Right.
And
It is. I mean, how many times has Timothy and before him Christine Jarsky? How many times have we sent them out into the hinterlands to market shows? And with the hope of selling our location.
well, and you were the mayor, so you knew that she was being sent out.
Yes.
The public, they have no idea. I mean, they maybe look at, well, what is the budget for economic development, and I have no idea what it is, but it's like, what are we spending $500,000 on? What
Right.
is that even?
Right.
How is that making a difference in our community?
Right. And sometimes the difference, sometimes the difference is not something we see
right.
when we're looking at a pinhole of one project.
Right,
Right?
exactly.
And if we look at that one project and we don't understand or even give consideration to the peripheral effects of that project,
Yeah,
which are also economic development,
yeah,
you know, you lose the value of that one project.
right. Yeah,
You know, I mean, I studied economics for a while, but that was the theoretical stuff, and the application of it and the real world example is much bigger and broader. That one project can lead to another, can lead to another, can lead to another, and you may not, because you're so focused on that one project, either politically or professionally or personally, you don't see
Right.
the ripple effect, right?
yeah. Well, and I kind of think of it, and there's a lot of it in businesses like this. It's like you're trying to push a whole bunch of rocks off a cliff, and every day you go to a different rock and you move it forward a little bit more, and you go to another one and you rock, and you move it, and all of these things are being, and occasionally one go off the cliff, and there's like,
Yeah.
and but what the public sees is just that
Yeah.
one success. They don't see all of that work,
Right.
And
that's, but I think that is, that's the nature of the beast.
yeah,
You know, when we were talking before the show started, I said, you know, there are things about the council that I miss,
yeah,
and that's being in the know.
yeah,
And oftentimes, if you're a casual reader of the newspaper or casual watcher of EOA Live, or anything else, you can miss the big picture, and you can if you don't every once in a while get that bigger picture because you're missing one key piece of information.
yeah,
It really puts you at a loss.
yeah,
And it puts you behind what's really going on out there. We sometimes get criticized about the urban renewal district and what it does, but in the big scheme of things, it's been a real boon to our downtown and to the district itself and ultimately to the community. So.
yeah. Well, and there's a whole bunch of little rocks.
Yeah.
The urban renewal district is only one part. I mean, you have LeGrand Main Street grants
Yes.
that come in. You have this block money that's, I mean,
Yes.
so all of these people that have their economic development eyes on are looking for funds
Yes.
that are out there for that we can apply for or get money for
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And so all of that cash, all of those grants, it makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
And I mean, while I was on the LeGrand Main Street, I mean, I think that there was over nearly $800,000 that over a period of time came into different buildings
Yep.
to help them,
And-
revitalize
Hence,
themselves.
hence that little leverage term.
Yeah.
$800,000
Right,
turns
right.
into
Right.
$1,600,000
Yeah,
or
right.
more,
Right.
because a business owner or a property owner receives this money and they oftentimes have to match it or
Yeah.
double it, triple it, and so the implications for any one of those little sources of money,
Yeah.
it just builds up and it ripples out and it grows.
I'll tell you one thing, one thing I did say beforehand is that if I was doing a big project and I had the funds, I'm not sure that I would go for $75,000 from the city in
Right.
economic renewal money.
Right.
Okay, whatever it might be. And I think we saw that a little bit with the bowling alley.
Yes.
Okay. So I think the bowling alley got $75K somewhere along the way, something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think they got they might have gotten a couple of them.
Okay. But the project was, I don't know, over a $2 million project.
Right. But
Right.
look at it now. You can't get a lane.
No, right. But
It's just good for them.
Right, but the point. I mean, it took them a while to get opened up.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the public was like, "Well, what are they doing with that money?"
Right,
And-
right,
and,
right.
I mean, they took a lot of heat
Yes.
for not opening as quickly as what
Right.
everybody might have wanted.
Right.
You know.
Well, the city took a lot of heat as well.
Right.
Because what are you giving them money for? They're not open yet.
Right. But and I guess I'm just, if I were in a, if I were funding a $2 million project, I think I'd look for 150K somewhere else that didn't quite come up with so much criticism.
Right.
Is the bottom line.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because once you take money from the public, you're in the public eye,
Right.
right? And not every business wants that, or maybe even should have that. But
Right.
I mean, at some time, are you willing to take that public scrutiny for the money that you're receiving? And,
Right.
And
Well, and I think we've seen that in other projects too, where there's been a significant amount of money. I mean, I'm thinking of the underground. The
Yes.
amount of money that was invested in that building and so on, and then they had a very small percentage of their entire expense came through economic development.
Right.
And again, but it took a while for that to develop and get spent. And
Right.
I don't know. I've just seen that. I have seen that trend happen a couple of different times.
it's unfortunate, I
Yeah.
think, and I mean, I'm guilty for the criticism myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit that piece of it. But part of that, I think, part of that perspective is, again, not having a fuller picture
Right.
of the implications of a project that you're investing in, or that the community is investing in.
Yeah.
And once, I can't tell you how many times that there'll be one or two pieces of information that become available to me that completely change my perspective on something.
Yeah.
And so having, I guess the upshot of this is, don't be too critical of something until you've explored it a little bit further and
Yeah.
understand the fuller elements of it. And running a business, local community projects, the ripple effects of doing those that
Yeah.
I mean are unbelievable and justifiable. So.
Well, and we got to quit, but the measure of, let's take like the bowling alley, the measure of impact. I mean, now it's like we're used to it.
Yeah.
It's old news.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it's so successful that
Right.
people are happy.
Right. But when you go into that place and you look at it and you go, wow,
Wow.
somebody did this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at the ceilings, you look at the textures and the lanes, and you look at, it's like somebody did this because they had a passion to do
Yeah.
it. But the impact that business has, and others have made on LeGrand, even over the last 10 years, is, I mean, LeGrand looks differently. I mean, you
Yes,
can
it does.
look at the stats and go, well, the population hasn't changed, or we're this or that. I mean, it's easy to look at, but it feels a lot differently than it did 10 years ago.
It feels vital. It feels vibrant. It feels like it's not, for a small town in Eastern Oregon, it's not losing steam at all.
No, I mean, and even though the store is closed, I mean, this store, this store, and the underground, and the print press, the press room, and
room, yeah.
Evermind Press,
Yeah.
and the bowling alley,
Yeah.
and
There's a number of
the Chachis Corner, the white, you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about,
yeah,
the local,
the landing and the
Yeah,
and the ice cream place.
yeah, I mean,
We've got some great anchor businesses.
right. All of those are individuals who have just
Right.
they've dug in their heels, and groups of people, and they've invested
And
locally.
done something that personally they would gain from, that has had huge implications for the community.
Well, and then sometimes they're not gaining. I
No.
mean, I can tell you, like, I mean, the Williamsons that own Evermind Press, and
Right?
I mean, those people have invested more in that building than they will ever get back.
I know, but look, I really admire what they've done.
Absolutely.
I mean, they
No.
took a building that had a kind of a nasty facade and brought it back to its
Well,
original.
and Burgoyne's that have the corner building, that have the cloud
Yes,
gifts. And,
yes,
yeah,
and,
I mean,
repointed the brick and turned it around.
People that just have a passion for
A vision.
taking an old building and fixing it up.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I love what they did on that corner
Yeah.
thing, and then looks like they've either got some short-term rentals or
Yeah,
they've got
yeah.
housing right there.
But again, I can tell you they've invested way more money than they will ever get back, just because they have a passion for doing nice things.
Yes, I hope they get the money back.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Steve,
Hey,
thank
we
you,
just
man.
chewed up 40 minutes of
Yeah.
time, which is I like doing that.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm glad you're back and glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, you want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. On this day, August 7th, 1782, Commander of the Continental Army, George Washington, creates 2 honorary badges of distinction and a badge of military merit, which is now known as the Purple Heart. It's the first time military awards are presented to common soldiers. 1944, on this day, IBM dedicates the first program-controlled calculator, the Automatic Sequence-Controlled Calculator, known best as the Harvard Mark I. 1959, on this day, Explorer 6 transmits the first TV photo of Earth from space. 1990, on this day, U.S. troops deploy to Saudi Arabia, beginning Operation Desert Shield. The number 1 song in America on this day in 1985 is Shout by Tears for Fears. And then the quote comes from Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. One more time. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
All right, good stuff.
Yes.
it.
Thank you, man.
And that
Yep.
quote was exactly kind of the stuff that we were talking about.
That's right.
Good thoughts will have an effect on the quality of your life. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you guys for being here with us. Yep. We'll see you next Tuesday.